Today on Business Success in Six with Stacie, I have Abby Abramovich here from Doundrins Distilling in Cottage Grove, Wisconsin. Abby, thanks for jumping on with me.
Yeah, for sure. Thanks for having me.
My pleasure. We had a great conversation before I pressed record. I would love to talk to you about Doundrins Distilling Company. However, before we do that, can you please tell our audience what Doundrins means? Because I didn't.
Yes. Yeah, for sure. So Doundrins is an Old English term dating back to like the 1600s that means afternoon drinking. So you would like partake in Doundrins. And
I
so we
love
thought it
that.
was a really fun, fitting name, just kind of for the culture that we were going for and a fun brand.
So fun. Thank you. I know that's not a question we normally ask, but I learned something new and maybe somebody else did too. So thank you.
Yep.
So my first question for you, Abby, is when people ask you what Doundrins Distilling does, how do you describe your business?
Sure. So we are a craft distillery, family owned. So it's my husband and I. And we focus on making really unique spirits that are very cocktail forward or designed to be in cocktails. We focus on working with local producers as much as possible and just doing something unique with the different products that we decide to make. We're not trying to follow anybody. We're trying to just make fun, different things that nobody's seen before.
Well, and your background is in chemical engineering. So
Yep.
you've got the whole science mind to test and measure, right?
Yep.
So what were your plans when you started your business and how have they changed? By the way, congratulations. Today is your 4-year anniversary. So tell me about, your whole process and how things have changed over time, because I know that.
Sure. So we got open to the public August 31st of 2019. So basically everything in a lot of ways has changed constantly, multiple times, just to survive the pandemic. So, we intended to make the spirits brand, wanted to have a community space. We always wanted to have like an outdoor space at our business where we're doing the manufacturing as well. So we do have a tasting room and an outdoor space now. But so we didn't have that in the beginning. We were actually getting quotes to go do some of that construction in like February of 2020. And I thought maybe we should hold off and not commit these funds and let's see what happens. And then everything got shut down and we only had an indoor space at the time. Okay. And due to our local regulations, we couldn't serve cocktails indoors for 13 months. So we had to immediately pivot to survive. So as you said, so my husband and I are both chemical engineers. We have a large, global corporation, large scale manufacturing experience. And so we were able to leverage a lot of that experience actually and pivot really quickly to actually start making hand sanitizer. And so we went from never making a drop to making 10,000 gallons a day in about 3 weeks. We made about 500,000 gallons in 3 months. That helped us survive. And then we kind of took that, we were able to help so many people through that process because a lot of people were like price gouging and I was refusing to do that because that's not who we are. And so it was a good support for both other businesses and individuals when people didn't know what they needed to do to be safe at the very beginning of the pandemic. So that was a big pivot.
Right? Going from spirits to hand sanitizer.
Yes.
Yeah, but thank you for doing that, first of all.
Yeah. So that was a pivot that we did for a while. Had to really rethink how we were going to do, brand building though in parallel throughout the pandemic because a lot of initial brand building is right, being out in the public, meeting people, tasting, doing samplings. And a lot of places weren't doing that or couldn't do that for local regulation purposes. So it was learn on the fly of how to really be in that brand building mode, but be faced with the challenges of COVID. So it's been a journey for sure. We've had to rework our physical space. Oh my gosh, we've reworked the space so many times in ways that we didn't expect and have, but we've through that all kind of grown faster than we expected.
Wow.
And we were able to circle back then to some of our original plans being putting in the outdoor space. So we built, over a couple years slowly, but, step by step we have an 11,000 square foot outdoor cocktail garden.
Wow.
We were able to put in a playground. So we're very family friendly business. And so, we've had some jaunts off to the side in totally random directions, but ultimately have been able to circle back, thankfully, to what we, the core of what we wanted to do, and making really fun spirits, having a community space where we put on fun events and that's both family friendly, pet friendly. So it's been a whirlwind of a first 4 years though.
Well, congratulations again, your 4-year anniversary. Who would have known that you've been able to circle back from that initial business plan, learn and create so much, help the community, and then you're here. Awesome.
Yep.
So we already talked about how you've helped the community and impacted the community a little bit, but I'd love for you to share a little bit more of the different ways that you impact the community.
Sure. So the sanitizer piece was, just to kind of circle back to that, that was a journey, because it all started with, I had reached out to the federal government and our regulating agencies, like 3 or 4 days before they published the full announcement to the whole country that everybody could start making hand sanitizer that was a distillery, because I was seeing the shelves empty and people were freaking out and businesses were not able to be open because they didn't feel it was safe and couldn't sanitize surfaces. And I'm like, I feel like we can make this. We just need to get a recipe that somebody's going to let us do it. But regulation wise, we had the permits we needed. There was like maybe one additional thing we needed to do. And so we basically started with like 30 gallons, and I posted ahead that I was going to have 30 gallons ready, and I was taking pre-orders.
Okay.
And within like 3 hours, it had 15, the post had like 15,000 hits. I had people calling me until like midnight that night.
Hi, friend.
Parenthood and small businesses.
Oh, I get it. That's part of it, right?
Oh,
that's
yeah. And so that kind of just took off from there, and it grew in ways that we couldn't have expected. And we were able to employ people that had lost their jobs. We were able to offer it for sale at affordable prices, at appropriate prices to businesses and individuals. And we ended up shipping stuff like all over the country. But we also we gave free stuff to a lot of local, like first responders, emergency type services. So that was really great as well. But then since then, we really set out to be a community space where people can come, hang out, meet different people, because it's a very welcoming, conversational atmosphere, where the purpose is to come, hang out, spend time, meet people, have conversations, and just like wind down with your family, your pets, whatever, friends, loved ones. And it's been great to really see that come to fruition, both through just the atmosphere that we've created, as well as the events we put on. And we have really in the last couple years leaned into the becoming really an event venue. We do things across the board, from plant sales to art classes. We partner with our local Parks and Rec for the actual village of Cottage Grove to put on yoga classes. We've done cookie decorating classes.
Awesome.
All sorts of fun stuff, activities that people can come do that there's nowhere else to do anything like the activities we offer in the area. And so that's been a really big community piece as well. That's been really fun.
Well, and then you also said that the farmers market is.
Oh, yes, I have. Yes, we have a farmers market every Tuesday. So we've been able to, be another space as well for
so many
small
businesses,
right? Exactly, to come and showcase their business. And yeah, just partnering with other small businesses, sole proprietors, other kind of local farmers and event kind of hosts has been a really cool way that we've been able to partner with the community that I didn't expect as much as what we've been able to do. And it's been really fun.
So many ways you're affecting the community positively. I love that. And I know you already talked about a challenge, major challenge in your industry with COVID. What is another challenge that you have faced that other business owners could learn from?
Sure. So I think, we kind of discussed earlier a little bit about just being open to change and evolution. And I think for us, that really means both offering different products, but then, we might have an idea of what's going to sell well and something else sells well, right? And so we are initiating the kind of interaction with the customer by providing those products, but we really are also dependent upon the customer to help decide the direction that we're going to go with regards to what products we want to push out in the market. And so we're able to kind of pilot stuff here in the tasting room. We make cocktails that people can come try, and then start all of our spirits not being distributed, but they start here. And then we kind of let the customer base tell us what they like the most. And so certainly we have our favorite products individually, and we have throughout our business had different products that we've released that something we thought would just do great, maybe didn't do as great, and something we didn't think would be much has blown up. And so it's been a really important aspect of running the business to not be set in what we, and lean too hard into what we like or what we think can be a great success, and instead be more flexible and more open to adjusting the path that we're on based on customer demand and consumer demand. And so I think that's been something that's been really, we set out to have that mindset. It's certainly easier said than done, especially if you have, passion for what you're making and you love something so dearly, you want it to be successful. That could be a particular product or, a SKU of, many products that you have, but just being more flexible rather than rigid and leaning into, hey, this was a market I didn't expect to exist when we made this product. We didn't even realize that there was this opportunity, but now it's come along. Let's lean into that. And, just ultimately the success of the business can still happen, whether it's with the products that we initially thought would be successful or not. And that's been I think a really important thing that I have to continue to tell myself, remind myself, and it's a deliberate effort to be flexible and open to those revisions and changes as we go along, that I think any business owner can definitely gain value from.
I remember a business owner interviewed, Bob Wills from Cedar Grove Cheese. He said the businesses oftentimes take on the personality of their owner. So you can have certain values and a mission.
Oh yeah.
Ultimately, we do have to listen to our consumers. And, you know, our coaches talked about testing and measuring, and you as a chemical engineer by trade, you know how important it is to listen, to test, to measure and adjust. So I love hearing that you're doing that. You're listening to your customers, yet still staying true to your vision. Beautiful. So what does the future look like to you? And do you have an exit plan?
So that's a very big question. I feel like we're still, in a lot of ways, I mean, compared to other big spirits brands, right? We're still very much so almost in our infancy. I mean, we've had really great success in Wisconsin. Distribution has been a big focus for our brand, whereas many other craft distilleries, their primary business plan is focusing on their physical location, their tasting room. For us, distribution has been the ultimate objective. And so really, you know, the goal is that the distribution side, and so, you know, sale to other businesses, is what we want to be our primary source of revenue. And then the tasting room would just be, ultimately, it's a marketing tool for people to come experience the brand, try different spirits, try different cocktails, learn how to use it at home, and then they can go to these other places and buy bottles or go to other restaurants and support those restaurants too. And so that's the ultimate goal if I'm just looking at the overarching business plan. And so, you know, we have in Wisconsin, like we're in over 800 locations in Wisconsin. And so we are kind of at the point that we're branching out into other states now. So, I mean, even the next year is the possibilities are just tremendous. We've started distributing in California. We are launching in Connecticut.
Oh, wow. Coast to coast.
Well, I guess technically legally tomorrow. So I think our official launch might be in like 2 weeks. We partnered recently with a business that'll help us sell our products and online and ship to up to, like, I think they were covered in 33 states. And then we've also recently partnered with, and should be launching in mid-September, with kind of a company that services chains nationwide. So like kind of big grocery stores, big liquor store chains. But so really at this point, the trajectory and the future that we're looking forward and goals we're trying to achieve is working towards becoming a nationwide brand.
Cool.
And
So
that's absolutely crazy to say. It's every day there's utter chaos in my life, right? But because I still have my full-time job as well.
Wow.
So,
and you have other friends at your house, right?
Yes, I have my children. But so, you know, that's kind of what's coming for, you know, the future for Doundrins is working towards that kind of nationwide brand. And then, you know, I have really important goals of ensuring that my staff, my full-time staff here, is, you know, paid competitively, and we want to add benefits for people because I think that's really important. So that's a really important milestone marker for us as well. Is I want to provide insurance to my employees.
Absolutely. That's so great that you're thinking like that too.
Yeah, it's like, very, very high on the priority list. Hopefully in the next couple years here. It's easy, again, many things easier said than done. But that's an important priority for us. And honestly, at this point, my like exit, do I have an exit? Definitely not out of the distillery, not anywhere in the near future, but my goal is to have an exit plan out of my full-time job so that I don't have two full-time jobs.
Yeah.
That has been extraordinarily challenging. And just completely energy draining. And so I am, you know, it's in the future at some point, but you know, that's kind of as well a priority on the radar in the next few years is to try and be able to have the business bring me on full time as a paid employee. So that then I could quit my full-time job and be dedicated here and add and bring the value that I know that I do bring to the business.
Yes, you do.
More of it, more time, have more energy to dedicate to those things. And as well then to my family. So, and to myself. Yes, exactly.
Yes, like people don't go into business to work harder than everybody else and to not make the money that they want to make. I mean, you're working hard. You deserve to breathe and have in Doundrins time. You deserve to have Doundrins time.
Yes. Yes.
So thank you. My last question for you today, Abby, is all subjects open. What inspires you most?
Honestly, I think it boils down to the ultimate driver in my mind, which is my family. And everything I'm doing is working towards schedule freedom. I mean, it's not even about monetary freedom. It's about freedom of schedule so that I can participate as much as possible in my kids, you know, lives and activities and things that they want to do and spend time with them over the summers and go up north. And, you know, the idea of that and what I know is possible and will be possible once I am self-employed fully, that is what drives me. That's what inspires me. That's what everything that I'm working towards. That's why.
So cool. Well, thank you so much for your time today, for all of your help in the community, for just your socially responsible mindset, and for making great distillery drinks. This is awesome. Abby, if somebody wants to connect with you to find out locations where you're distributing or to come to the tasting room, what's the best way for them to find more information?
Sure. So we have a website. It's doundrins.com. That's DOUN as in Nancy, DRIN as in Nancy S.com. So doundrins.com. But we're also extremely active on all of the social medias. So pick your poison: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all TikTok, anything. You can definitely find Doundrins, and we talk about our products, talk about our events, talk about the tasting room, and talk about the different locations that we sell product in, and are doing tastings at all the time on all of those platforms.
Thank you so much. Congratulations on 4 years and continuing to grow, Abby. It's such a pleasure.
Yes, thank you so much.